See everybody. Thanks for coming. I think we're going to start tonight's meeting by approving last month's minutes from March 21st. I will make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Alrighty, we'll start with you, John. Yes or no on the minutes? Yes. Excellent.
Yes.
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 Alrighty, the minutes are approved. Thank you. And we will go right to our first new matter, which is Perry Lopez at 23 Hudson Avenue. Wait, is that right?
Yep.
Is that right? Yeah, that is right. Yeah, good. Perfect.
Okay, if you're here to represent the application, please hit the raise hand button. And for anybody, whenever it's your turn to present your application, please hit the raise hand button. Thank you.
So that's one that we've definitely seen before. That
Yeah.
was, yeah, that's an extension.
You have such a good memory.
Oh, good. Excellent.
Good evening. Can you hear me? This is Perry Lopez.
We can, thank you. Yes, go ahead.
So I apologize. So I am a returnee. I was approved back in 2001, November, through this process. And unfortunately, based on nobody else's blame but myself, I allowed the permit to lapse. And only realizing going through the process with the building department recently that they tell me, oh, by the way, you need to reapply because your permit is lapsed. I'm on the final phase with the building department of what the requirements were that I needed. And unfortunately, I had some family problems in 2022 with both my mom and dad getting ill with COVID and taking care of them, which delayed the processes with the building department. But I'm ready to move forward, and I'm hoping the board will allow me some dispensation and I can move forward with this process.
Has anything changed?
There are no changes at all.
Okay, so it's just exactly as we approved it last, well, 2 Novembers ago. Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
Right, so it's from 2021. He said 2001, I thought.
No,
Yeah,
I'm
no,
sorry. I apologize. 2021.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
November, I think it was 23rd or 22nd of 2021.
Yep, I remember it. Okay. Well, I will make a motion since nothing has changed. I'll make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, we'll start with you, Charles.
Yes.
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 All right, you are approved. I will send you a letter tomorrow.
I really appreciate it, and I thank you for the board's time.
No problem. Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
The next matter is Paul, 12 Croton Place.
Hi, can you hear us?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Okay. So I think we have a simple application. We're adding a couple of HVAC units to the exterior of the house to support a change off of natural gas heating into electric heating for the house. We have a couple of photos that we present here if you want to share, if we can share the screen.
That would be great.
Okay. So just give me a moment. Can you see the screen?
Yep.
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Okay. So here on the second slide of our presentation here, you can see there's a survey of the house. You have a copy of this survey, I think, in the application materials. And
Yes.
we have marked the point here on the survey where the exterior unit would be added. It's about 14 inches deep. And you probably know this is in one of those alleyways between our house and our neighbor's house. From the This is a view taken today from the sidewalk in front of our house. You can see there's a gate there. And the new unit would be down against the foundation of the house, so it would not be visible from the street. This is a view back up that same alleyway between our house on the right and our neighbor on the left. The HVAC unit would be again down by the foundation between us and that hose, if you can see the hose there. And it would be only slightly deeper than that hose. It's about a 14-inch reach into that alleyway. Oh yeah, another point to point out, we have talked to our neighbors about this, where it's located, where it would be located down here would not be easily visible from their house either. Their windows tend to look straight into our kitchen, and there's a stairway up here. You'd have to poke your nose against the window to be able to see our new unit down there.
So where's the property line?
Approximately down the center of that alley.
So it's shared between you and your neighbor.
Yeah,
Alleyway. Yeah.
that's correct.
And it's shown, it's on the survey. We could go back to that if you'd like.
Yeah.
Can you make that bigger?
Give me a moment. Yeah, so you can see the surveyed property line down the center of this alley. There's the wall of the neighbor's house. There's our neighbor's wall.
And it wouldn't stick that much into the alleyway. It was just a big Sharpie, so.
Right.
Right.
Well, can you get past it without trespassing on your neighbor's property?
Right.
Right.
It wasn't a joke, that was a question.
They
Can you
don't-
get past it?
It would not intrude onto the neighbor's property.
No,
Correct.
no.
What if you would allow you to pass from front to back and pass that without having to go onto your neighbor's property?
Yeah, if you go, John's bringing up the hose that you see in that picture is just a little bit shallower than the unit that's going to be there. So they can certainly, yeah, we could get by without going onto their line, I guess.
And what about the noise? Is this the noise?
This is the north side.
I'm sorry. What was the question?
Is noise, will it be making noise?
Oh, it's a very low decibel unit. We have been told that unless you're within 6 feet of it, you can't really hear it. It's, I think, like
Well,
20,
but certainly the house next door is within 6 feet of it. Yes.
22 decibels when you're right there, when you're right on top of it.
But the house next door is within 6 feet.
Might be about 5 feet away, but of course the nearest windows are farther than 6 feet from that.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, I had two questions. In the beginning of the call, John, I think that you mentioned that were you installing a couple HVACs, or is this one of many, or is it just the only one? And then the second question is, I read in your submission, it said that the backyard, it wasn't feasible, and just to expand on the backyard option.
Yeah. So another smaller unit would be under the stairway in the back here against the foundation wall that you can't really see in this photo.
But the other one is just too tall, unfortunately. That's where we wanted them both, but they wouldn't both fit.
And you see where the grill happens to be in this photo. It can't be there because that's an egress from the house.
Right.
And you couldn't use the smaller one to replace the larger one with the one that now fits under the porch there?
Again, the larger one wouldn't, it's just too tall to fit.
No, I understand, but couldn't you use the same size unit on the side of the house as you're using under the porch?
No, the one under this stairway is going to be for 2 units. The other one's going to be for 5 units. So it just it's bigger. Otherwise we need like 3 units.
3 exterior units.
Right, 3 exterior units, and that's not a good solution either. And they all three would not fit under, even if we got three small ones, they wouldn't all fit under this stairway because there has to be clearance for the air to move and stuff like that. So that's not a solution either.
So is this a variance for side yard setback
This is a variance for coverage,
coverage?
right?
And for some.
And
I'm
side
sorry,
yard.
and side yard,
Yeah.
right, yeah.
Right.
Any other questions? Anybody from the community wanna weigh in or?
There's nobody here for.
Okay, no hands are raised. Okay. Anybody else from the board have any questions? I'm gonna make a motion to approve. Obviously, we don't love giving two variances, but this seems to be sort of the only solution to do what you want to do with the property, and it's a pretty modest ask, all things considered. So I will make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
A second.
Second. Great. John?
Yes.
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 I'm gonna say no. Because of the fact that it's so close to the other property, I think it sets a horrible precedent. I mean, you already have a system. You can continue with the system. I understand everyone wants to turn into electricity. It's the way to go these days, but I think that just too much infringes on the neighbor's property.
Judd?
Yes.
No,
Okay. Okay. So you are approved. I will send you a letter tomorrow.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Good night.
Night. Okay, 5 Harriman's Keep is the next case.
There's somebody here. Just-
Great.
Zoom seems to be.
Yeah,
Frozen.
it's a little slow tonight. That's okay.
Good evening.
Hello. Hi, how are you?
Hi, Daniel O'Connor, architect for 5 Harriman's Keep, and we're seeking a variance for the plans that have been approved already by the planning board, where we're replacing in kind a rear yard deck. The rear yard deck does encroach with the rear yard setbacks, therefore it requires variances from the zoning board. And
It's also over coverage, is that correct? Right,
I
isn't there,
believe the issues that were brought up with the variance that we're seeking is for, yes, coverage and encroaching, yes.
okay, great,
Encroachments in 2 locations, so.
right, rear and side, yeah.
So it's 3
Been a
variants.
existing deck that was built with the house at the, but because of the unique conditions of this settlement, it doesn't meet zoning requirements, of course, because there are no setbacks and they're attached row houses. So that's why we're seeking a variance.
But when it was built, it wasn't built with a permit, correct? It was built, it says undocumented, so.
That's what it, yes.
So, and you want to replace it,
We're replacing a deck that was there, yes. On
or you
the
could just be, I guess.
Well, that's what we'll find out. Okay, so can you, what would you like to show us?
Well, these are the plans that were submitted and approved by the zoning board, by the planning board, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Getting ahead of it.
Let's see. Let me go. This is the rear deck, and we can see from the plot plan where the required side yards are, the side yard lines are. And
we can't see anything.
Yeah, can you, we can't see anything right now. Are you sharing your screen?
Oh, let me go back to that. Share screen, apologize for that. Here we go. Can you see it now?
Yes, now we can. Yes, thank you.
So let me get this out of the way. As I said, I was addressing the site plan where you can see the required setbacks from the side yards and from the rear. And this would be the proposed deck, which, like I said, it's an existing deck and it's being replaced in kind. Therefore, we're seeking.
How much over coverage are you?
Oh, I would have to go back to my schedule here. We're talking about approximately 250 square feet.
That's how big the deck is.
Yeah.
And without the deck, is the property over allowable coverage, or is it within allowable coverage?
Well, according to the general zoning coverage requirements, the property itself wouldn't meet those requirements.
Right. I guess that's what I'm saying.
Meaning the house is
Right.
over.
The house is over.
House is definitely over, yes.
Yeah.
And here we can see our schedule, right? So,
And it is literally the same size. You're literally just replacing the deck.
yes, repairing.
Except for, I understand the woman who owns it said you're not putting up the railings on the deck.
Right. Where the railings would become an issue, sorry.
No, not particularly. I'm just was observing that's the only difference, as I understand it, between what's there now and what will be there if we approve the variance.
Annie, could you make the lot coverage calculations at the bottom of this page bigger?
Yeah, thank you. That would be great.
So just zoom in.
Yep.
Sorry, because I'm not on my regular computer, so. Okay, does that help? A little better?
No, I can't read the lot coverage calculations. I'd like to see them.
Yeah.
Sorry, because I'm not on my computer, so I'm not familiar with this guy. Let's see. I don't think I can right now from here.
Right where that plus sign is on the right side. Could maybe that help you out?
I've been trying, but
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
giving me other
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah,
Other things, be
Yeah,
careful with
yeah,
that.
yeah.
I can read it.
We don't want to see other things.
No, nothing else.
I think this is as big as it can. I can get it.
Can you read it to us? Can you tell us what the
Sure, sure,
coverage
sure.
is?
So the lot coverage of the primary building, the existing is 1,100 square feet, proposed 0, and the total is 1,100 square feet. The front porch steps, 112 square feet, proposed 0, a total 112 square. Deck patio, so we're looking at 0 square, sorry, existing, assuming that there's 0 square feet, we're proposing 395 square feet, and the total is 395 square feet. And everything else, 26, so the patio, there's a patio, concrete curb, 26 square feet, proposed 0, remains 26 square feet. Garden wall, 7 square feet, proposed 0, remains 7 square feet. Front planter, 17 square feet, proposed 0, 17 square feet. So the total existing coverage is 1280 plus the 395 of the deck is 1675.
So why do you have the existing deck as 0?
Because it wasn't approved.
Undocumented.
Because it's undocumented.
Documented. That's what we were told to do, and that's how they approved it at planning board.
And how much are you permitted on this lot?
Guess it's not.
Right.
Well, right now, like I said, it's
No,
been-
I mean, like, so what's the permitted coverage? How much are you over by?
Oh. Well, according to our zoning analysis, the minimum, so it's an existing non-conforming condition, so I don't think we could, it wouldn't be permitted, otherwise we wouldn't be here, I would think.
Right.
But what is the coverage that is permitted?
Right, that's what I'm trying to get at, yes. How much coverage is permitted on this lot under the zoning laws so that we know what you're asking for?
The existing non-conforming lot is 2,600 square feet. And we said the maximum allowage coverage would be 1,280. The undocumented are the 393. So so the total would be 1,675 square feet. That
And
would be the maximum
permitted-
allowable coverage. That's what I'm going with.
So did you just say the house without the deck is at the maximum coverage?
A little bit over, but
Over.
but no. Yeah,
And how long has the present owner been the owner of this home?
Ooh, that's a good question. I'd say since 2000.
And is it fair to say that the owner presently is the one who constructed the original deck?
Yes, I believe they extended an existing deck that was there.
Next question, Harriman Keep, aren't there like 8 homes there or something like that?
Yeah, they're townhouses.
Right,
Yeah.
So
townhouses,
two rows of
Right.
house on the
Attached
side of the
townhouses, right?
right. Does anyone else have a deck back there?
Everybody has decks.
Yeah, the
So-
one to the left of the house, as you look out the back, I know there's a deck there.
yeah.
They all have
So
decks.
this- Of the same size, basically.
And it looks like, I mean, we've worked with neighbors where they didn't have to go to either planning board or a zoning board to repair their deck. So this is a pretty unique situation that I think the owner was.
Well,
expecting.
They
all the-
should have.
they all the-
Yeah.
They all agreed amongst themselves just to do it.
Right, I don't think you can say they didn't have to, maybe they did, but they should have. All right, so by my rough calculations, and anybody feel free to come in and correct me because they're rough. You're asking for an extension that's around 20% over allowable.
Yes,
And I did get up there as well as John, and everybody does seem to have decks
Yeah.
up there, and they're all about the same size. That is true.
Are they all also
I
undocumented?
did not check whether they're documented or not. That I did not check. My guess is at least some of them aren't, if not all. I have no idea.
So do we
But-
think that if they had sought a variance at the time they were constructed, those variances would have been granted?
If my calculations are right, probably, yeah.
Would have been
Probably.
granted. I don't know about that, but
Yeah, around 20 or a little bit less than 20%.
So I think then the real question is not whether or not this is replacing an existing deck.
No, it's not, right?
Right, it's, should we be granting a variance, assuming that nothing is there at all of such a magnitude? Or of a magnitude of 20%.
Right,
That's the
that's
question.
exactly the question.
Right. Okay.
That's exactly the
Well,
question.
we can say no, and we can leave that deck there, this old moldy deck. If that's what we want to do.
Right. No, I think Charlie's framing it exactly correctly, which is basically they're asking for a variance of about 20%.
Right.
Either we do that or we don't do that. To me, that's at the high end of what we do, but I don't think it's completely out of, the question of what we do. Are there any other questions, by the way, of anybody here
So-
or anybody on the?
Oh, okay, I know you're going to the public first.
Right, no, go ahead, Eric.
So how did you get to 20%? If this is gonna be close to 400 square feet, right? 395 is what you said?
Yes.
And if 12 is the maximum allowable, isn't this,
33%.
Oh, you're right.
Yes.
33%. You're right. I was taking the higher
I'm
number.
bad at math, but I know you're good.
I was taking the 1675. You're right. I
Yeah,
was
it's
taking
it's
the
a
higher
lot
number.
more. It's
It
way
is.
beyond. I think if you're gonna look at this from a different perspective, I think there's 8 homes there. It's a confined area and neighborhood, not viewable to anybody else. But the problem is, I don't have proof, and I wasn't there, and I apologize for that. There's 2 things I'm missing, I think, before I would approve this. One is, I want to know if everybody else has a deck of the same size. And number 2 is, I want to know
We have aerial analysis as well.
of the other 8 decks that are out there, I want to know how many are documented.
Yeah, I think those are fair questions.
So I would suggest we adjourn this for a month, come back and tell us whether everyone else has the same type deck, and I'll go out there, I guess, and I apologize. And I'd like you to, and it's up to the chairperson, obviously. I would suggest that you tell us whether those 8 other decks or 7 other decks are documented or not.
How will it change what we do?
I think we need to have a better record before we make a decision, is my point.
Just have a record?
I think it's important. Because
I mean,
if they're documented, number one,
variance has been granted to all the neighbors, then.
then it's an easy thing. If the variance has been granted to 2 of the neighbors, I think it gets easier.
Right.
And I think it's better for us and for the board, for the community.
Okay,
Yeah.
understood.
Yeah.
Everything was already approved by James Hahn Engineering and Ed Maron and everybody, so.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that's a
Subject to
little,
the variance.
right, I understand that's a little confusing, but that's all good from their end, but they're looking at something different than we're looking at. So I would endorse that. Look, 33 is a little high. It is. 20 I'm more comfortable with, but you're right. I was using the higher number rather than the lower number, and 33 it's a little high. I think it would be good for everybody to get the chance to get out there, but more importantly, I would think if you could do a comparison with the other 8 units there and let us know the size of their decks and, pull the property cards and find out if those are approved or not. That's not terribly difficult to do. I think it would make sense to come back next month.
So that I would be able to get that information from the building department, I would guess.
Yeah, or the county. I mean, it's not that hard to do. You can pull property cards from the county pretty easily. And it'll just tell you what their approved coverage is, and then we'll know if it's, if it's all 1280, we'll know they're not approved. If it's more, in the 1675 area, we'll know that some of them have gone through the process and gotten their decks approved.
Because if you wonder, people are building decks that don't have permits, then they don't have the building department looking at the plans and approving the plans, and it could create a dangerous condition.
Yeah. Yep. So I think that's how we should go about it. Why don't you come back next month with a little bit more information and we can take it from there.
Basically about all the neighbors, you're saying surveying all the
Yeah,
neighbors.
yeah,
properties.
yeah.
And we
Yeah.
have, so not necessarily photos documenting all
No,
the.
no,
neighbors.
no, you don't need photos. I mean, we're all going to be able to get the opportunity to get up there and take a look around. I don't think we need photos. We just
Talking
need,
about 1, 2, there are almost like 28 different properties, 28 properties that compose this.
In Harriman's Keep?
I would recommend focusing on the ones in your area.
The adjacent ones.
Yes.
'Cause like
Is
I
it
said,
28?
we are not,
Uh,
we listed the adjacent property as 28 properties because they're all townhouses and they're all attached to each
Right.
other. If you go to the list of adjacent properties at the beginning, we have all the lot info parcel and the info of square footage that they, and they're all similar. They're all in that 2,600 range.
But there's a development right next door, which is a different name. I don't recall the name of that one. What is that one? Right to the
Richmond Hill.
Richmond Hill, right? So
Right, so that doesn't count.
we don't,
We have
Right.
16 properties at Harriman's Keep.
16.
Yes. And I indicated already the total, the lot coverage and lot information on the cover sheet. So we did an aerial analysis that satisfied the planning board.
So is that what you have up before us right now, list of adjacent properties?
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, we can't see it.
You can see it?
Yeah,
It's just the print is too small.
yeah, just it's too small, yeah.
But again, I for one would like to see whether those are documented or any of them.
Well, I
If
mean,
if they're on this, they are what
They're-
is on that is presumably documented.
right, that would be.
Why would you say
documented.
that?
Where did you get that information from?
This is from the Greenberg maps.
Right, that's how you would get it. So
Right.
that would be the information we are looking for. Did anybody print it out? I didn't.
But you say this document itself is
See.
an exact copy of a document from Greenberg?
Oh,
This
Was
is
this
what
a
we got the
compilation?
information, right?
It's
This
a
is a compilation
compilation.
of what he developed or somebody developed.
Right, we put together the schedule based on the information that we got from the Greenberg.
So that's what you got from Greenberg. That would be what's documented.
Yes.
I don't, that's a big jump. I don't know if I agree with that jump.
Yeah, I mean, they came through and measured everybody's house 7 years ago, and that's what's in Greenberg, right? Not what's been approved,
Oh.
what they measured.
That's
Right.
right. That's right. That's exactly right.
So the only one that would give me the information of the approval would be Ed Marin then.
Well, there would be closed building permits.
Right, you're
Right?
right.
That's what we should, that's
So
what
we're
we
not
should
I
be.
guess-
Department.
Okay,
Right.
okay. You're right.
We would have this schedule, we would propose this schedule with basically another line of existing approved decks. Would that satisfy?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
exactly what we're looking
Yeah.
for.
All right. So we would add a column with the approved decks.
Yeah.
To this.
That would be great.
No problem.
Okay. Alrighty, so we will adjourn this matter until next month. And we will see what the evidence shows us about the decks up there. Alrighty,
Okay,
okay. Thank you very much.
so I'll be receiving your comments.
You just did.
Nope, you just did. We
Watch them on YouTube.
yep. That's it. Yeah, there's nothing else to
That's
show.
right.
Yeah, we won't have even minutes filed until next month, so. No, but just our comments would be, when you come back next month. If you could give us an idea of whether the decks up there are approved or not. That would make it a lot easier for us to go forward with this application.
Okay,
Alrighty,
very good. Thank-
okay, thanks very much.
Bye.
See you next month. Okay. So the next application is 33 Osceola Avenue.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Ken, thank you.
Hi, how are you? Evening.
Good.
I'm
Evening.
gonna share my screen.
Yes.
Right. Let me see if I can blow this up a little bit.
You adjust your camera so we see more than just your mouth. We can see your eyes. There
Oh,
you
there
go.
we go. There we go. And-
I'll have to sit back a little bit. Let me just pan this out a little. So This application is to legalize an existing concrete patio at 3 Osceola Avenue. It's a little bit of a complicated application. I'll try to walk you through it. This is, again, it is an existing concrete patio that was built in 1988 along with the pool. The shaded area here shows the area of the concrete patio. It predates the current owner. This was all uncovered after the sale of the property. And I believe that was in 2015. And the current owner had submitted an application to the planning board to do some other improvements, doesn't matter what they were. And this was uncovered that the patio had been undocumented. So he put the brakes on the other application, and we're going through the process of getting this patio legalized. It does exceed the allowable coverage. I'll zoom in a second on the compliance summary. One of the issues here, let me just see if I can zoom in here. One of the issues that also makes this a little bit more complicated is that there's also let me see, can you see this? There is also a sewer easement. You see my cursor here that kind of runs right through this section of the patio. So we have proposed to take this section out. It's about 174 square feet that we will be removing. So it will decrease the existing coverage, and it will also eliminate the issue of being in that easement. So I'll just jump up to the zoning summary. For the coverage, the allowable coverage is 2,433 square feet. This is an undersized lot. It's the R40, a 1F40 zone, and it's a 20,000 square foot lot. So the lot is half the size of the zoning requirement. So what we did is going back through trying to document and find what was documented for the initial pool installation in 1988. They were like back of a napkin kind of sketches, but we were able to pull what we could to find out that there was a previously approved patio. You can see here, I put estimated again because the information is very sketchy, but it was approximately just under 300 square feet. So the current patio is about 1,000 square feet. So it's an increase, and then, sorry, then we're taking out the 174 square feet of that section where the easement is. So it's really just a net add between the previously approved patio and the existing undocumented of 529 square feet. However, it is still a net add of almost 5,000 square feet in an area that is only allows 2,433 square feet. So it is a significant increase. However, I will submit to the board that the existing coverage is already 4,410 square feet. So it is already significantly over. I'd also like to propose that it is at grade level, so it is not impactful to the surrounding properties. It has also been in existence now, and I'll do some quick math. 38, so for quite some time. I don't want to do the math in my head because I'll make a mistake. So the neighbors, again, this property owner has owned the property since 2015. He does have a good relationship with the neighbors. The property is completely fenced around the pool, so it's not even visible. It's a solid fence. And again, despite the numbers, I think it is minimal impact. We are also proposing to decrease the current coverage by about 174 square feet.
When was, so that that approved patio,
Yes,
which you said was about 300 square feet, when was that approved?
that was approved with the pool in 1988.
1988.
With a variance.
Is
Uh,
that,
That's a good question. I don't know if a variance was granted. I would imagine it was.
yeah. So the allowable there is 2433. You are at 44,
4410, yes.
4410
Presently with the undocumented,
with, and that's with everything. That's all in.
44.
Yeah, that's without the patio though. That all includes the previously approved patio, the 4410.
It's at 200% plus
Wow.
of coverage, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just curious though, so with the variance for the pool, was the patio already there, or did the patio get built at the same time?
or shortly thereafter.
So
Like-
like I
like-
said, the documentation is very sketchy. There is no.
Well, what did the building permit say?
The permit, the building permit only references the pool. It doesn't
So-
reference anything about the patio. But like I said, the documentation that was submitted with the permit, it was a one pager. Looks like it was drawn by hand. And has an outline of a patio. It's not called out, it's not described. It's just a line that comes off of the pool and connects the pool to the house.
Is it possible the patio predates the pool?
It is possible, yes.
So. we have
But the
no
pool
idea.
was approved and the patio was approved.
No, the patio wasn't,
The smaller.
the smaller,
square
the
foot.
patio that wasn't built was approved.
Yes,
Right.
right. Right, yeah.
So Matt, can I ask you, so you're at 4410 existing. And the undocumented piece that you want to document is another 529. right?
Correct.
So that would put to the 4,900. So you are, and of course, you're way over allowable. So, but you're only increasing 529 feet over existing. Is that correct?
Correct.
Just a little bit like, I don't know, 12 points or 10 points or whatever the math is, right?
11%.
11%, yeah.
10%. I know it's somewhere around there. It's at 10, 12. So you're only going 10% above existing. Although I think we're somewhat affected by the existing amount since it's double,
But that's.
right? Which goes back a long time. And it is
Yeah, and
undersized.
again, I don't know if this is really significant. It kind of jumped out to me that it is in, like I said, it's a 1F40 zone, and this is only a 20,000 square foot lot. So I think in this sense, it's a detriment to be in that zone when you only have a lot that's half the size of what the lot size requirement is.
And yet you had to take the 174, not as a gift, but because it was over the sewer easement, right? So
Yeah,
So,
but we could have cut back just that section that's over it. We've taken out a little bit more to kind of round it off.
is there anything more that you could take out so that you just break even?
Well, possibly. Let me just slide back over to the plan. I mean, right now, this section is not, there's no patio on this side because it's up against the fence. So really, this is mostly for maintenance to get around, to skim the pool and whatever else you need to do, get in and out of it. So I want to be able to maintain something around the edges because there's nothing here. So you only have this access around these three sides, top, bottom, and side. But the right side here is there's no patio on that side.
There's no other coverage anywhere else that you could.
Exactly.
Right. So, and Artie, my view is that pool without a patio is unusable, right? There has to be a patio somewhere. Right. I don't know how big it has.
I've
to
seen
be.
pools with nice trim grass around it, but that's okay. I mean,
Yeah.
that does exist in Southampton.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't do that on the Cape.
Rest around my pool.
But I guess overall, my point is over existing, you're only the 11% is one way of looking at it.
Right.
Correct.
Well,
Over-
existing documented. though, right?
Existing,
Documented, right? I mean, existing as in having,
Right.
substance, he's actually reducing it,
That's correct.
right?
right, but wow, it's so far over. I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around how far over this is. And to just say, yeah, another 529 square feet, what do we care when it's already so much? But it's undocumented.
But it's true that he's not asking to add that because that would be easy, I think to me, it'd be easy to say no.
Sure.
But what we're saying is, it's existing, it's been there for maybe more than a skillion years, as Matt has described it, so it's been there for a long time. We generally do not have make people remove things. I mean, generally speaking, I'll say truly offensive or dangerous or something like that. And again, we're only 11% over existing, which is something we've used in the past as a benchmark. So I just said that's my leaning, in a way.
Well, yeah, I mean,
But I'm not sure we started with that much over, though.
that's exactly what I was just gonna say. We haven't started that far over to then say.
You want
right,
them to
another
bring
11.
a list of undocumented patios and pools in the neighborhoods that we.
So how
I'm
old is that
kidding
house?
you.
Matt, you know how old's the home? Is it like a home in the 30s or?
I can look that up if you give me a second. I'm not sure when the house itself was built. I could look it up. Just bear with me one second.
The last 10 years, that'd be a real problem, wouldn't it?
Well, but the pool is 35 years old.
Right.
Right.
It looks like it's a 1940, 50 house. It's a, sort of a ranch.
So pre-zone.
So predates the zoning.
Yeah.
Right, so that puts the house open way back when to begin with.
Does it help?
And-
Let me show one other thing. Hopefully this will help. I'm gonna do a new share. What happened? Oh, here, sorry. So this is, the comparative analysis of the surrounding properties.
Yeah, could you enlarge that?
Yep.
Thank you.
One
So,
more time,
A little bigger.
one more time.
We're old. Come on.
Speak for yourself.
I'm old.
Yeah, there we go, 203%. Yep.
and you can see some of the other properties. They're not quite as
That's it.
impactful as this one, but they're significantly over. And again, I'll point out that in a 1 F40 zone, most of the lots are about 20,000 square feet. The one outlier is about a 30,000 square foot one here, but he's at 154% coverage. There's 158, 146. So
Lot
average
coverage
is-
is very in keeping with the rest of the, except for one outlier. Look, there's nothing you can give
He-
back to us on this.
he
I mean,
is the- I mean-
203%.
Yeah, right. I mean,
Is
it's,
a real outlier in your neighborhood, and the size of your lot really isn't. I'm
Yeah,
gonna have a
again-
guess on
Sorry,
this.
again, it's a patio, so, some of these coverages, if I look at the aerial, there aren't a lot of pools. So there's 3 immediately adjacent right here. This isn't like, it's not a structure. This is, it's
What
minimal.
really strikes me is how crowded that lot is on
Yeah.
average. Right,
And the patio is just huge.
right.
Yeah. My recommendation would be to sharpen your pencil and come back next month and tell us what you can give back on this, because that is a very crowded lot with a very big patio around the pool.
Right.
And I'm only speaking for myself here. I don't know what my fellow board members think, but it feels right now like a no for me. It just does. It's in every way, both visually and by the numbers, it seems to be out of keeping with that neighborhood. I mean, the number 203%. I understand you're not coming in at 100, believe me, but there's a big difference between 159, which I think was your next closest
Yes.
coverage
Yep.
number, and 203.
And there is a remedy. I mean, you can try to maybe trim down that patio right? So that it's,
But as I say, that's my recommendation. If anybody else feels differently, please chime in. But
I would support what you're suggesting.
yeah. I would say figure out where you could lose some coverage and come back next month.
Okay,
So should we adjourn this? What do you think? That's my recommendation. If you would like to adjourn it, you don't have to renotice it. You can just come back next month and have a chance to talk to the homeowner and see what they'd like to do on this.
yes, that would be great.
Okay. Alrighty, so we will see you next month.
Great. Thank you.
Okay, very much. Okay, Greenberg, 58 Ardsley Avenue West.
This is your lucky day. Still me.
Oh, lucky us.
Let me share my screen again. All right, this one is a little bit easier. So let me zoom in. And it is not, oops, what did I do? Essentially, this application is for the Greenberg residence, 58 Ardsley Avenue West. There is an existing deck to the rear of this property. It's unfortunately didn't print very well, but it's basically where this arrowhead ends. And it basically comes out about 20, I think about 12 feet from the face of the house. The owners want to expand the deck. It's a little small for a family of four. They want to be able to have a dining area, an outdoor grill area, and also have some lounge seating so that they can really take full advantage of the deck. And it just, the way it's configured now, it's too small. There's also, again, I apologize, it didn't print well, but there's also a stair down right here. So it almost cuts the deck off. In the usable footprint of the deck, it's a big chunk out of it. So what we also want to do is move the stair so that it's parallel with this part of the house so that they get advantage of the full footprint of the deck. This too requires a variance for the coverage. It is also in the 1F40 zone. It must be my favorite. It is also an undersized lot in that zone, 23,000 square feet. The allowable coverage is 2,770. The existing total is 3,902. However, with removing the existing deck and replacing it with a larger deck, it is only a net add of 254 square feet for a total of 156.
And Matt, it's fully documented.
Yes, the existing deck is fully documented.
Okay. So what's the percentage over existing or allow?
Yeah, what's over allowable?
Well, is it allowable or existing?
Well, I'd like to know what, I'd just like.
Sure. So right now, 12% is the allowable, where the existing is 17. Let me just see this. The proposed is 254, bringing it to a total of 18%. So it's only a 1% increase.
But it's 150% over allowable. Right? 18% over 12% is 150%.
Right.
Yes, but it's a 1% increase over the existing.
It's a 1 percentage point increase over the existing. It's 8% increase over the existing.
Right.
Got it.
Yeah. That's a lot over allowable. Do you have any sort of idea of where this fits in with the neighborhood?
I don't currently, but let me just see if I have a document that might have, just bear with me 1 second.
And it's a raised deck, Matt. How far above the ground?
It is a raised deck. It's about 5 feet above grade. Let's see if I can. I don't have a, yeah, here, this might help a little bit. Just to give you that context and answer the question. So this is the view from the rear. I could go to Google Maps and we can take a look at the aerial. I don't have it documented on here, but if you want to bear with me, I could do that and share it.
Sure, let's take a look.
Okay.
Because I have to tell you, I understand it's only 254 square feet, but it's already very far over allowable. And I just don't know how much insult we want to add to injury on that, unless you were able to show me that every neighboring building was that much over allowable, in which case it would be harder to say no, but.
And there's also a relatively easy give here. I mean, they can get a larger deck, just not as much larger as they would like.
Right.
So just a quick overview here. Hopefully you can see this. I'll zoom in.
Yeah.
So this is the property. I think everybody knows this used to be the playhouse for Ardsley Country Club. Cul-de-sac here.
Yeah.
This house is almost identical to the Greenberg's house. And there's a pool here with a pretty large patio. This house is it's pretty oversized for the lot. So in terms of context, and then we have the art, the other sections here that are part of the Ardsley Park.
Okay. I mean, again, I hate to put you off another month and hate to send you home empty-handed on 2, but my recommendation would be to come back next month and just let us know how far over the other houses in that neighborhood are. And if you feel like you're right in the midst of it, then I think you'd have a better chance of getting a yes from us. But if you take a look and find out nobody's as over as far as you are, you might want to come back with a slightly scaled back request. That would be
Understood.
my.
Was that deck part of the original home, or was it put on recently? Was there a variance for that deck was
No,
put on?
There are no variances on record. It was built with the original home, though, yes.
Or not. It's a very optimistic way of looking at it.
It's a fairly new construction.
Okay. It is a newer building.
Yeah.
All righty. That's how I would proceed. So are we okay with that?
You asking that or us?
Well,
It's up to
would
Matt,
you,
I guess.
yeah, it is. Would you like us to go ahead, or would you like us to adjourn it a month?
Or you
I
feel
think we
lucky?
can-
Yeah,
Sorry, was that from me? I apologize.
I think we should.
I'm
adjourn.
okay with an adjournment. I will get the
Okay, great.
analysis
And
put
then
together.
come back and let us know what you find out. I'd be very interested to know.
We already have a
Okay.
pretty busy for next month.
I know already. Nobody else do anything. All right. Well, thank you very much. We will see you next month.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, and 3 Gray Rock Terrace is our continuation. Remember this, was this?
No.
It was from June. Yeah, that's why. I didn't- Oh, sorry, no,
Good evening.
hello. Hi, how are you?
Everyone can hear me?
Yes,
James Crabb, presenting as homeowner and architect for my wife, partner and architect, Anastasia Melchikova for 3 Gray Rock Terrace. This is the second time we are before you. We've gone to the planning board 2 separate occasions. They've been happy with both iterations, but when we came to you, we had a larger proposal looking for variances for coverage and pre-existing rear yard setbacks. Our property was over on coverage to start with, but we have proposed an addition. You asked us to sharpen our pencils and we made dramatic reductions to a lot of our coverage. While we are still requesting a variance, I'd like to present the edits that we've proposed and walk through that now. So I will share my screen. Can you guys, it says it's loading. Can you see that?
Yes.
Yep.
All right, so not to give you the full overview, but 3 Grey Rock Terrace, it's a dead-end street. A lot of the neighborhood is obviously overbuilt, as I'm sure you're aware of every property in town. Previously, we had been proposing an addition of approximately a first floor addition of approximately 700 square feet on top of our pre-existing coverage. We've dramatically reduced in several areas to bring us to an overall proposed addition of about 200 square feet. I can show you the comparative percentages of everything in a second, but just to bring you up to speed. I'm going to show you the existing proposed because I actually think it'll make more sense. So this is 3 Grey Rock. Existing main structure is 2,047 square feet. There was an existing first floor patio that was 236 square feet and an elevated rear deck, which you can see here. There's the existing patio and the elevated patio on the left here. We're proposing now the demolition of both of those structures. Previously, we were trying to maintain the existing patio. What we're proposing at this time now is only to add a deck back in kind. The present deck that's there is an elevated approximately 4 feet in the air, elevated bluestone deck, concrete deck. It's not permeable by any means. With gravel underneath it, we're proposing a Trex deck brought down to just a few steps above grade. It is a significantly smaller 234 proposed square feet, which is also less than what we had proposed in the last iteration. And then the other patio is completely removed. We have also proposed reducing the entirety of the proposed addition by 20 square feet. We've also reduced our hardscape in general. We're removing a minimal sidewalk, proposing changing our front entry pathway, removing some remainder slate walk and some other bit of a retaining garden wall to bring our proposed coverage down to much less than what we proposed last time. That being said, still over. So just to kind of show you in more detail where that lies previously versus proposed. Just to show you. So this is our previous neighborhood comparison and coverage proposal. So in the previous iteration, during the time span between our first submission in March and this submission in April, we also received a more accurate survey. Every single number is no longer apples for apples because Greenberg's size of our property is less than what we found in our survey, and every number has changed just a little bit. So we've had to reduce even further than if we had our old numbers to work with. But previously, before, the existing proposed coverage was, or the existing allowable coverage was 2159.
James,
And
could you zoom in a little bit more so we can
yeah,
see it?
sure.
More. There we go.
Thank you.
Is that better?
Yes,
Yes.
it is. Thank you.
Yeah.
So you were
So
2159 was allowable.
This is the old, just for frame of reference.
Right.
So that was 2059 allowable. The existing, before we even got started, was over that, and we were proposing an additional 500 on top of that. So the total proposed coverage, when it was all said and done, would have been 27% over allowable, and or 43% over allowable, bringing us up to slightly higher in the neighborhood, which a lot are all over to begin with. So just to zoom this out, can you guys read this?
A little bigger would be better.
Okay, so let me just show you. This is where we were proposed in the neighborhood, and this is where we were existing. So I'm just going to
Gotcha.
highlight these over here so we can zoom in.
Yes. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. So essentially, our original proposal brought us to higher in the neighborhood. We were already 123% allowable, and our
Yeah.
proposal was bringing us to 143. Now, that being said, other people in the neighborhood are closer, but it was high. So
Yeah.
we've pulled back, and just to walk you through those reductions in a bit more detail, or I guess more granular down to the numbers, I'll zoom you into the same of where we're at today. So can you guys see this?
Yes.
So this is back to our lot coverage. So we found out the property is actually about 1,000 square feet smaller than we thought, which meant our allowable coverage was under. So we had to reduce even more than we had hoped. So the allowable was 2455. So what we did was all of those items that we discussed, removing the patio, reducing the proposed addition, reducing the proposed deck, eliminating front or reducing front entry pathway, along as other miscellaneous things. We've brought our greater than allowable to 678 square feet as proposed to before, which was like 946. So just to refresh my memory, and brings us to 33 over allowable. Now, when you compare that to the neighborhood, now we are, where are we at? So there we are now. Moved down a little bit, but this number before was the number that was closer to 140%, and now we're at 126%, which is much more in keeping with where we were. It's a pretty substantial reduction, still over, obviously, but we think we made pretty great strides in reducing the proposal. Just to reiterate too, like, we're trying to keep this as a first story addition for multiple other reasons, maintaining trees, canopies, reducing visual impact to the site. It is a very, it's challenged by grade, I will leave it at that. And essentially, vertical additions will not be met very well visually. So we're hoping that this reduction is met with some positive feedback, and I look forward to any questions or comments you might have.
Any questions?
Sure. Could you tell us, I think you went over it quickly, you said, let's talk about the structure, forget the pavers, forget making the walkway, smaller. To me, that's not an apples for apple trade-off in the structure. I think they're both different. Tell us about the addition you want to add. Are you still adding, is it the same thing, another bedroom, another guest suite?
Yes, it's a first floor addition. Presently, we're a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom. We're proposing. So here's our first floor, just for frame of reference. Can you guys see this?
That's current. That's existing.
That's current. Yeah, no, I'm gonna go forward. So presently, this is our living, dining, kitchen space, existing patio. What we're proposing is that space. The addition that we're proposing is moving the kitchen over to here so that we have a proper dining space and a bedroom suite, so that we're hopefully at 4 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms now.
So how does last month's building addition compare to this month's building addition?
It's reduced across the board, 20 square feet, 6 inches on every side. The deck is reduced by.
I know about the deck. I'm talking about, I'm focused on the building structure.
The building structure is reduced by 20 square feet. And then
I heard that, but is that coming in 6 inches on each of the 4 sides? Is that 3 sides you're saying?
I'd have to go back to the original to compare exactly. 1910, 36-1. Yeah, the width remains. We changed the length of the building. So we squished it in this direction and this direction.
How much?
Basically, they're like 1.5 feet.
Okay. But from the street, it still extends out the same width, if you will.
That's correct, which is within the setbacks.
Any other questions? Any questions from the community, Sarah? Nobody raised their hand. Okay, I'm gonna make a motion. I do appreciate that you came back with really a substantially smaller proposal. And I do appreciate the give backs, the patios, the things like that. I do think that that makes a visual impact on, from the neighborhood point of view and just from the property point of view, having walked by it today and used my imagination. And I think that those numbers, though high, that whole neighborhood is high. And I think with the proposal, you're really much more in where that neighborhood lives. 126, I think you're already at 123, you're going up a little bit, but it's really right in line with that neighborhood. So I'll make a proposal to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, Charlie, we'll start with you.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm gonna say no, and just so we're clear, again, I said it a moment ago, I think when we're talking with about the pool coverages on the other properties and you're trading off some coverage here, you're gonna remove some patio, it's a lot different than giving up, as I said, pavers or some deck in the rear, or which is at grade, and then just increasing the building to the right. And again, the building itself, the appearance, the bulk of it is gonna be just as it was. We're just shortening the back of it by 1.5 feet. And I think it's just over, and I think it just creates a bad precedent, so I vote no.
Okay, I vote yes.
Yeah, it's a close with me, but I vote yes.
Yes.
Okay. You are approved. I will send you a letter tomorrow.
I appreciate it. Have a good evening. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. All right.